Okay, everybody, it's DK with Mr. V Amps here, and we have something I'm sure none of you have ever seen before, and it's my first adventure seeing one before. I've seen pictures, I knew about them. This is an amplifier made by DoleSonic, the Woody series, the model big 12-inch. Woody series, big 12-inch. Yeah, I heard it too. Okay, so anyway, we've got a kind of a unique grill cloth there, wood cabinet. Needs to be wiped off. I can handle that. Looks like a custom constructed cabinet. I can see some pencil lines and things there, so I'm sure Mr. Dole's probably built those. Got a dust rabbit there. There we go. Everybody needs a dust rabbit. Rectifier here. I think that's an old vintage rectifier. Looks a little cockeyed in its bottle. 6V6, 12AX7. So 5-watt Class A something. What do we have here? We have a piece of veneer floating around in there. Okay, don't need that. Let's see. There's a tag here on the side that says model B12. That would be big 12-inch. Date of manufacture February 2011. And Tremcaster.com, which you can find on the Wayback Machine anyway, if you'd like to look at their website. This amplifier was made by a fella, I believe his name was Ken Doles. That's why we have DoleSonic. And his health gave out, I believe, and he is no longer able to service this amp, which has an issue, so it comes to me. So okay. Controls on the top: fuse, power, tone, volume, input, and then we have a clicker switch for like this weird on, off, on clicker switch. I don't know what that is, but when I'm looking at a tone and a volume, I'm automatically thinking like 50s Fender Princeton kind of thing. But from what I understand, this amp is in need of some serious help, so let's plug it in, turn it on, and see if it explodes. Are you all waiting for another jump scare like I gave you with the Carvin? Why would I do that? That's just mean. Okay, so that's what it does when it's turned on. It goes, I think UI and everybody on the planet has a pretty good idea what that is. I didn't know the switch was off, but there's the sound, and that's the sound of what? Okay, that particularly grotesque noise that we hear, that sounds a lot to me like filter cabs, but this amp is from 2011 and these are Sprague Adams. So the odds of the filter capacitors being bad is slim, but it does kind of sound like there might be a grounding thing going on, but yeah, I'm seeing some other sort of weirdness here I haven't made heads or tails of. This looks like probably like a cathode ground 500 ohm, resistor. That's like cathode with the bypass capacitor, right, for the power tube. And that goes there. This is, I don't know what's up with this switch. We've got this switch and got some other, what is this? I should probably sit down and draw it just so I know what it is. But let me check to see if these capacitors actually do have a problem. Okay, kids, this is going to be hard for you to see. It looks like Mr. Dole's used a 3 a 3-position terminal strip and soldered all 3 terminals together. And then it screws down to the chassis right there. Okay. And if I check the ground side, the negative side of the filter capacitors to the grounding strip, I should get beep. Where's beep? I don't hear beep. Let's check it on ohms. Maybe I just have a crappy connection. I have it on ohms, yeah. So I should get essentially 0 ohms, right? Let's try it. What do I get? Infinity ohms. So our filter capacitors aren't filter capacitoring. Yeah. So I got to try to figure out how this is supposed to be grounded, because that seems to be the problem. Our filter capacitors right here should be seeing ground over here, and they're not. See, I should get beep, right? Because if I come to like the chassis over here and I try a pot, I should get beep, right? Yeah, there's beep. If we try the grounding strip over here, yeah, we get beep, so we're okay. So this is okay, but these seem to be like floating, so they're not getting good ground. So if your filter caps aren't getting good grounding, then there you go. Alright, let's deal. Okay, so the filter capacitors over here, these 2 big blue Sprague atoms, should be grounded. And the ground is over here on the corner of this chassis bolt. And I keep trying to beep it out with the meter and see, is it there, is it not there, is it there? Sometimes I think it's there, a lot of times I think it's not there. So it's fuzzing the crap out of me. So initially I was going to solder a wire there in place, but let's just test the theory. We've gator clipped a wire on the filter capacitors, which these two, the negatives are definitely connected together on those, but I think their connection to ground is poop. So let's see if the amp is quieter when we do that. Well, it would help if we had some tubes in it, right? If we don't have tubes in it, it can't make any noise. So let's put some tubes back in it. Stand by. Okay, so I plugged the tubes back in. Now let's see if it explodes when we turn it on this time. Okay, no explosion, really no sound. I have the volume turned down. Is there any output? 12AX7's on. Is this amp just really quiet? No, it's ultra quiet. Too quiet. Did I do something wrong? Okay, so yes, I did something wrong. I was able to install the power tube incorrectly. That key on the tube doesn't line up with the key on the socket so hot. So we've established that we have a better ground of those 2 filter caps now. Now let's see what we have. Doesn't sound like we have much of a change. So, and of course now I can't get that stupid gator clip off of there. Let's take it off of here. Let's see if that makes any difference. Oh yes, that definitely makes a change in the sound. I think we have like some kind of royal grounding problem here, because the sound is different when we're unplugged versus we're clipped on. You know, it's definitely got a different timbre. What about this one? Is this one not have ground? Is this one lacking ground? Yeah, boy. Let's just experiment. Let's pull our preamp tube and see if that makes any change. Some. Okay, I think we've got just a major royal grounding problem here. Alright, let's deal with this. Okay, so just having this like that, I can wiggle that around and the ground gets better or worse. And there's probably some other crap down the row here that ain't grounded good. So this stinks, but I don't think I'm going to have any choice other than try to pull this board. And that's going to be a pain in the keister. But I don't know how I'm going to solve this any other way. It's like the grounds along here are all just whacked out. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can find. Okay, so I pulled the chassis out and discovered this has the brass plate in it. That's fine. It's kind of a Fender-y thing to do. That's fine. We got this one over here. That's pretty well blob soldered. This one over here that takes care of those filter capacitors. I was able to pull that up with my fingernail. So the ground for our filter capacitors at this point stinks. So that's probably the root of our problem. So let me get the big Mondo soldering iron and we're going to reflow that as good as we can and see where it gets us. Alright, that's unfortunately it's as close as we can get and still stay in focus. We've got our big Mondo 80-watt soldering iron. If you ever need one of these or you're looking for one of these, find them at some place for plumbing. It's a plumber's soldering iron. Okay. Trying to get that red hot, or not red hot, but hot. And this brass plate being already mounted to the chassis, that chassis is going to want to wick the heat away. And it's going to want to prevent me from making an epically good quality soldering connection. It's just the way it does. So I'll give that un momento to cool there, and then we'll poke at it with a stick and see how good it is now. Okay, so we're poking at it. That feels 100 zillion times better than it did before. This one seems okay. This was the messed up one. And now it's not messed up anymore. So now we just test again. I see what some of these oddball things are. This circuit is very Fender Princeton. I was thinking about drawing a schematic and, you know, trying to figure out a lot of things, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. This switch here is just an impedance. Instead of a stock style transformer, they use this monster of an output transformer. It's a big old Hammond 125 ESE, big single-ended. It has 4, 6, 8, 16, and 32 ohm output taps. It's a 15-watt transformer, so I'm assuming that, you know, if you wanted to do this as like a 6V6 amp or something, you probably could with a transformer that big. Or that's like the size transformer I used on my 807 amp, except mine was a Haybor, I believe. while I'm in here, and I've still got the Mondo soldering iron on, I don't like that solder joint on that pot. That looks a little weak. See if we can flow that too. Make that a little beefier. Okay. And that one actually looks pretty good, so I just kind of want to make that one a little grander. Soldering with these Mondo big soldering irons is a pain. Okay, so I think our ground dilemma may be solved. Let's test. Okay, so I have bungee. I'm using my little bungee lead to go to its speaker over there. And we fix the ground connection by the filter caps, which was not good. And we've reinstalled the tubes, and now we turn it on and see if it explodes. Okay, our speaker is virtually silent. That might be a good thing, or it might be that I installed this tube correctly this time. I didn't screw up twice, thank you. So let's turn our volume knob half. Okay, at 3/4 I'm starting to hear hiss, and all the way up I can hear a little bit of noise, which could be just noise, like cell phone or camera noise. The camera, this thing can hear the camera, I swear to you. But I got it dimed now. Preamp tube sounds okay. Power amp tube sounds okay. Rectifier is a rectifier. We have a little switch here. I think this is an impedance switch for like a booster. It looks like if it's in one position it goes to a resistor and whatever, and then if you flip it the other way I guess it goes without the resistor or something to that effect. So like an impedance switch, kind of like you know, whatever. So let's see, let's turn our volume back down. Let's make sure it makes noise. Yes, plenty of noise there. Okay, so this is like a bright switch. I got it. Not bright, not bright, bright. All right, so that should be about it. Only when I dime it do I get any noise in the speaker, and it sounds like the weird little digital switchy power supply kind of noises that I get when I have my cell phone anywhere near my electronics. So that was it. It was a bad ground. A bad ground right there. I'll see. I don't know if I can even take you in there and show you. Maybe I can. I'm going to try. Come on up with me. Alright, don't get sick. Admire my messy workbench. A messy workbench is a sign of somebody who's busy and has been fixing things and hasn't had enough time to clean their workbench. If you have too much time to clean your workbench, it means you haven't had enough things to work on. That's what I say anyway. Okay, let's come in here. Okay, there we go. So it's on this side right there. That's where it goes to the brass plate. That's where it was messed up. Right there. That little bare naked lead there wasn't soldered to the brass plate good enough. And it made the amp make that horrible, awful, buzzy noise. So now you know, and this is everybody's probably first adventure in seeing a DoleSonic, but since John, the owner, is my friend, I am going to take the time to polish the dirt off of the amp and put it back in the cabinet, and then we'll give it a sound check. Okay, so everybody keeps messaging me. They all want to talk to me, but we've got our big 12-inch DoleSonic Woody here fixed. And it's quiet. This switch over here, this voicing switch, apparently it's got like 3 settings. So we'll listen to those. I got the tone at about half, and then I got a volume. And I got a noisy guitar hooked up. That is a noisy P90 guitar. So that's pretty normal. Let's see what it sounds like. And put the volume at, let's say, 3. How's that sound? Okay, dial the tone back. Seems fine. Turn it up a little bit. Yeah, it's got plenty of gain, so I consider it adequately loud at about volume 3.5. So let's try the middle position for our tone thing. Okay, so the middle position, 1 is brighter than 2. And then let's try position 3. That seems to be the richest, so there you go. All right, all fixed. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.